Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Hallyujuku, a podcast about East Asian pop culture for you by a couple of non-East Asian buddies. Talk about K-pop, talk about mostly K-pop a lot of times, or other genres. I'm Peter Ray, your man with a plan. Here with me is my tag team partner, my partner in crime, my right hand man on my left hand side, Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. Let's get in it.
Let's get it started.
All right.
Let's start off with what's new. Kaz, what's new with you?
Yeah, for me this week, I got one-on-one with one of their new tracks, IPU, and it's supposed to be like a special track,
like a fan song,
which I haven't. I didn't look into it, but I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good track.
It took listening to it
I
to
like
realize,
the beat.
Yeah. It took listening to realize that it meant "I promise you." I didn't like it when I saw the words. I thought, what does that mean? What is that? Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a cute, fun track. Super colorful video, super fun. I don't know, like one-on-one hasn't hit me yet where they're growing on me just yet, but I give it time and we'll probably get there.
Yeah, you can definitely.
I think they're on the right path.
Yeah, they're on the right path. I think it's definitely well performed and well executed. It doesn't surprise in any way, but it works well. Like, it's well executed, and you can see that they're all very attractive young boys, and it shows well in the video. There's a lot of cutesiness. This is definitely has. I didn't realize it had until I listened to it, the fact that it was like. That it's supposed to be interesting. The moments in there very much feel like moments for like a fan song music video, like just them sitting around being cutesy. It does have like an odd juxtaposition with the more like seriously performed like choreography moments and like the more high energy instrumental parts of the song, but it's interesting. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I don't think I like this song is nice. Energetic seems nice. Their version of Pick Me seems like a fun meme. I don't know if it's one of those this is the type of feeling that I usually get from boy groups that kind of maybe gives me mixed feelings. It's okay, this exists for the fandom, not for anybody outside that. Or kind of I don't know. This isn't exactly like that, but it just kind of invokes this with a couple other things, and the fact that they haven't super I think you said turned either one of us on, but it evokes that, I guess, a little bit. But yeah.
All right. My next track is Penomeko.
Yeah, Penomeko or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a SM artist. This track. You have to understand was produced by Zyko.
Yeah.
They always love to put those on there. I actually really enjoyed his voice. I really liked the video too. I think the video is really just kind of chill. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed his voice. His voice is really, really it just got me. It really fit really well and reminds me that Zyko might be actually really good at music. When he does things like this, when he steps away from being in front of it.
Yeah. Well, when he wants to. When he wants to, kind of have a, evoke an emotion. I think, it's produced really well. I didn't realize like Panama, like this artist, he was an SM artist. Like,
Yeah.
That kind of threw me off. Like, I didn't know SM, signed guys like this.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think that. Like, it's like SM. Oh yeah, it's Girls' Generation, Shiny, EXO, Super Junior. They're that group. Group. Like they're that label. But to have artists like these, it shows. It's nice. Because it shows like a little bit of growth and like exploring and kind of diversifying your portfolio a bit, which is cool.
To have just a solo artist, like,
yeah, because it's not like they haven't explored this type of music. It's just usually from their art idols finally getting to do solo shit and like, all right,
be like, I guess,
yeah, but yeah, it's cool and Zico. His touch is felt, and I think it's for the better. I mentioned in the pre-show that it does include it seems like it's the new phenomena of like including the Animoji from I think the new iPhone, which neither one of us have any experience with. I don't know. I think it's called the Animoji.
I'm stuck on a really bad Android phone that I need to get off of and get a newer version of Android because trying to do certain things sometimes that are phone dependent because like there are some websites or social media things that are more primarily designed to help you when you're trying to like be like, hey, I'm good at this thing. And then you're like, well, no, great. I got to use that particular social media structure. and then your phone is like, that photo that you just put on me takes up all of my memory. And you're like, look, I just need to post it and then delete it. I just need to post it and delete it. And your phone's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I can't handle that.
When you can almost feel your phone sweating, under the stress. Maybe get all
right. So my last track. I might get a pixel. My last track is by an artist named Sleepy. And this one also has to have that feature of letting you know who it was produced by, because it was produced by Gray. Speaking of Instagram, that's kind of what this song is about. is meeting someone and asking them what their social is. What's your number? What's your IG? What's your
Instagram looking? What's your Insta? Yeah. It's really cool.
I also thought it was a really cute video too, like to have all these like models and people to kind of play off of, but then you get this little cute thing where you kind of see their at. And there was a couple of times where I'm like, I kind of want to go see if that's their actual like, see if that's their actual like Instagram or something.
I think
which actually, I might do that. Let me hold on. Let me do that real quick.
Let's do some roaming.
Let's see.
You do that. I think it's really cool because it kind of plays off of like, I mean, we've had the thing on the show even. And I love the Ellie, my girl Ellie from EXID appearing on the video. It plays off of the fact that like even like in music videos and like hip hop and R&B music videos and like in Korean hip hop and R&B, like we've talked about in the past, is like we've seen like a model in one of the videos and like what's your Instagram though. And like it plays off of that, and then you know what, he does good work. Sleepy doing the Lord's work and providing you with the Instagrams. Like, I know what you want to know. I know you want to know.
That is this young lady's actual Instagram.
Which one are you looking at?
Like one of the very first girls that popped up that was in the video, like. And then she has photos from her on the video shoot. So,
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah. If you see someone in this video and you're like, I want to follow that person. Good, go do that.
Yeah.
I think and now I actually think that's super cool. God damn it! This video just went up a level for me, and I don't even like the song that much. I think the song is cool. I think the concept of the song is cool. I think his performance of it is pretty cool. I'm not super sold on his sound necessarily, but I do love Gray's producing on most things. I think Gray is a really good producer, but like,
yeah.
Right.
Go check that out. Nice appearance by a couple of people. Also, a nice appearance by Din Din. A couple of the other knuckleheads he hangs out with, which is awesome. Who are all awesome knuckleheads. But yeah, go check out ID and get some IDs.
All awesome people.
Yeah, follow some people on Instagram. Some attractive models and Korean women on Instagram, like I do. Yeah. All right. So moving over to my tracks. So I have 3 pairs of songs because I had 3 people that dropped pairs of songs that caught my attention, this past week. And it can't be helped because of, I guess it's the thing to drop pairs of songs. But we'll talk about them in pairs because there's no need to. It'll take us forever if we talk about them individually. But yeah. Let's first talk about J-Hope, the boy from BTS. He dropped his mixtape, and it's I'm sure y'all have heard of it, because it's blowing up. Just as I guess it's just further proof that BTS are just on a tear, like they're just unstoppable. But yeah, J-Hope's mixtape has been blowing up.
I've had to hear about this because a friend is a very big BTS fan, so I've heard.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in all fairness, they've earned it. They put in the work and they've earned it. And J-Hope finally coming out with his mixtape, and putting out a couple of title tracks. Both at this point, I don't need to tell you about them, but I'd like to talk about them. Daydream first, and then he dropped another track in Airplane. I think these are both really cool. Like they have different vibes. One's a little bit more like laid back and chill, and in Airplane, and Daydream is a little bit more high energy, but still kind of chill. Like up tempo, but still kind of like cool and like laid back in a sense, with while still having like a little bit of an energy. I think they're both really well made. I really enjoyed them, and I definitely want to check out the rest of his mixtape, I guess, for all that word means anymore. Actually, I know what that word means. It means the label gets to pay you half. That's what it really means nowadays. But yeah, I don't know. This is a really cool track. Like, I like his approach to the music. I like his how his personality shines in the videos and the music. Daydream is a really fun kind of like video. But like it's fun, but it does kind of like actually talk about a couple of things of like that he explores emotionally, but while still being like a little bit more up tempo. And then like Airplane, it just gets to be his ability to kind of brag about the fact that he's a high flying, stealing, wheeling, jet flying son of a gun.
I like the Airplane more out of the two, just because I like the sound of it more than anything. Less maybe the context, but the sound of it is really, really good, and I enjoy the fuck out of it.
I think it's just I think it's fitting to be like the probably the more feature song. It is the vibe of it is really cool, and the sound of it is really cool, and like and I think that his delivery on the hook is really cool. Like and the way kind of it flows is really nice. Yeah. No need to tell you about J-Hope, all y'all. we just want to talk about how we dug it. But let's talk about somebody else who I am in love with. Mamamoo came out with a couple songs. One song they came out previously was a song called "Paint Me," which is okay, not a huge not a huge attraction, but it was like a pre-release track. But it was interesting. But they come up with a couple of tracks, one more pre-release track, and then their official title track. In first, Biel Param Kot Taeyang, or Star of Wind, Flower, Sun. And then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. I don't know. And their title track, Starry Night. And the pre-release track is actually really nice. It's more ballady than anything. But it is a great showcase of their vocals, and they execute fantastically. It does start and end in the most Mamamoo way. Which is fantastic. I think it showcases the personality. I think this is more of a hey, this is a nice little, maybe a more of a fan song that they kind of way to kind of show off their personalities a bit. But then you move on to Starry Night, which I think is they went a little bit more serious, I guess, but I think had a nice epicness to it. Had a nice sound that kind of it's it's not treading entirely new ground, but it is a little out of left field. But I think it works really well. I think that they all shine vocally and performance wise. The video is amazing to look at. But it is so much of what I love about Mamamoo. It's hard because we sometimes kind of. I sometimes kind of get a little bit annoyed, a little bit bothered by some people who get a little bit focused on technical vocal abilities in K-pop. But then again, I'm a Mamamoo fan, But I think it's because they have the chops, but they bring in a personality that helps that is only helped by their ability to execute solidly, but they still are able to bring a personality and an energy to the music that is beyond just they can sing the notes good, Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Kaz?
I like Starry Night a bit more. Neither of them really hit me that much. I'm not, like I said, I've always said I'm not the biggest fan of ballads. Ballads just kind of don't do it for me. I like music generally to be more energetic, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It just isn't, my cup of tea. But, I kind of like the pacing of Starry Night. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. The other big thing is I like that Moonbyul gets a chance to be a little bit more integrated vocally in outright singing. Well, I'm singing in both because outright, just doing a regular singing verse in the first track, and then doing kind of a more sing quote unquote rap in this one, and that with her low tone is fantastic. Yeah, Mamamoo. I already pre-ordered this album. Just put on it out there. And I'm waiting on Yes Asia to ship it. This and the previous album because I realized I hadn't gotten that one. And I looked up, I saw the pictures. Once again, still that consistent box design. A little bit of Mamamoo. It's gonna be that same shape that the other albums were. Yeah. I just got to figure out if this is the continuation of Phase 2 of the Mamamoo musical universe, or if this is Phase 3. But that's for another day. Okay, another couple of tracks. Sojung of Ladies Code was given a chance to do a couple of solo tracks on a little mini album, and it's so cool. It's out of nowhere. It was kind of a surprise, and it's as part of a project or something, and working together with Paper Planet. Sojung released a couple tracks, one in Crystal Clear, which is, and the other one, Stay Here. I think that is more the title track. Crystal Clear, I think for both of them, it's very much a vocal showcase. I think like it's one of those things. I think that both of those songs are really. I enjoyed them just for the fact that I get to like. They did a great job of like showcasing and utilizing Sojung's voice, which I think is one of my favorites. As far as like the tone, as far as like how unique the sound of her voice is, I think with Crystal Clear, kind of had like the instrumental and how it plays for her voice.
Yeah.
And I think in Stay Here, I think I liked Crystal Clear a little bit more, but I think Stay Here does sound like a solid title track and makes sense for the one that
like putting. I kind of like Stay Here a little bit more, which is odd, right? It's a slower pace song. I think I just like if I'm gonna take a slower pace song, I usually just kind of want one person singing it. I think I don't know what it is about that. Like I gotta figure that out.
And do some one person on myself controlling the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Crystal Clear isn't bad. It's just if I'm comparing the one artist to themselves over two songs, then
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they're both really solid, and I think the main thing is I love getting more chances to hear Sojung's voice and anything from Ladies Code. I also loved in Stay Here. You get a little like cameos by the other members of Ladies Code.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And the videos are really cool. If you want to go check them out on our links, but the videos are visually really cool and interesting. And like really well shot too. Yeah. I'm hoping that this is a sign that we're gonna get a proper Ladies Code comeback. They still have to finish that trilogy that they promised. They couldn't put out those 2 minis. Now they got to put out the third eventually. They all did get new hairstyles, new hair colors, so that usually is a sign that there's going to be a comeback. So we'll look forward to that. I do love Ladies Code, and I have for a while, and I want them to have a chance to shine.
Yeah.
All right, that is it for what's new. We're going to transition over to our headline segment. So join us over there, which is actually just here. We're just going to switch and play a song and be right back. So stay right there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our headline segment here in Hallyujuku. We're talking about topical topics, things going on in the world of East Asian pop culture, fun stuff. Well, some non-fun stuff. All right, so shit's going down in Clay Class. Clay Class, I mean TS Entertainment and Secret. There's a lot of articles going back and forth, but basically what's going on is Hyosung and Jiun are in a legal dispute with TS Entertainment. They both announced that they're leaving Secret. At this point, basically, kind of like putting a nail in the coffin of that of another iconic girl group of like that generation. And they're both having to sue to nullify their contracts. There's a lot of back and forth, especially from TS Entertainment. It is a little bit of a hubbub. There's a lot of back and forth of allegations. We still don't know. it's obviously it's
So
they
kind
just
of
started
the
the
way
legal
it looks,
proceedings.
yeah. So kind of the way it looks like this breaks down is some of the girls have had issue, and then they're deciding to leave. TS Entertainment, I guess, threatened some of them with legal action.
Yeah.
Then Hyo-sung leaves and beats them to the bush, right? And then decides to just take action against TS Entertainment rather than just waiting for TS Entertainment to
Just kind of let them rot away.
yeah.
It's one of those things like I think we talked about it last week. You kind of touched on it. It's like that not wanting to let go of that faint possibility of like, oh, they'll come back, or also not wanting that headline, and you know, keeping them under contract for as long as possible, because you don't want that group A, you know, group B is disbanding, you know, like headline. You want to avoid they're trying to avoid that headline at all measures. I don't know. It is a tale as old as time, at least as old as K-pop. I don't know. How are you? What reaction do you have to like this particular drama, or even to just like the fact that, you know, Secret is done?
I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to not feel any particular way about these things, right? It's I don't know, like it's just I'm starting to not know how to feel or know what to think with these things and these groups and these, like, it's just hard. It almost makes like it almost makes me feel like I'm getting to the point where like I don't know if I can be a fan of K-pop anymore, right? And it's not necessarily anything wrong with K-pop itself, right? It just is more like it's hard, right? Because then you like a group, you don't know if this group is just forced upon each other. You don't know, like, I don't know. There's just so much that you have to think about. Like it's getting to this point where it just is really, really rough being a fan of K-pop. Because and right, because like you hit this situation where you're like, well, I like that group. I like this group that they put together, but I'm getting to this point where I don't like that label. I don't like that you know, whatever, like, because of how they've treated other groups in the past, right? Like, and it's getting to be too consistent to I don't know. It's just rough. It's just really, really rough.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you realize that we're, because like, you know, when we get into this, like we were watching a microcosm of what, you know, the music industry is in general. I think that it's a little predatory, a little bit, you know, one-sided. It's just that we are watching this intently, as opposed to like, say, another music industry intently. But then you kind of all of those factors and all those motivations that you always see in like the music industry, and then add on to that the factors of like how well these K-pop companies have, say, internalized every part of the K-pop training, K-pop's management process. Like the fact that they are the label and the management. Like, we stop to think about it, it's like, hey, isn't that kind of weird that I mean, it's not new. There are some people that do it in here, that there's people that want to manage your career, but also like help you like stuff in the studio, and it happens elsewhere. But it's kind of weird, especially on a big level, that they're the manager and the label. Like when your manager usually is the person that represents you and your economic interests in negotiations with people like record labels and people who want to sign you into contracts. It's like if if like Tom Brady was also managed by Robert Kraft. like you know, it feels like a conflict of interest, but they've been able to manage this like we represent you and we're also profiting from like this back and forth. So they control the entirety of the process. They control the entirety of your career, and they kind of hold that over you. And other things like how they recruit young and are able to kind of they have that power leverage over you to make you sign bad contracts and things like that. So we see that in that microcosm, and it's just like, man, I got into this for fun, silly pop music, but man, this is just heartbreaking. It's like it's like being into anime and then realizing how shitty the animators get treated. It's like, like the drawers, and it's like, this is kind of pooping on my parade. So yeah, it is definitely heartbreaking to kind of like realize, oh yeah, this entire industry, like a lot of music industries, is run by crooks and idiots, and a lot of it is not completely, but just a lot of it is. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, at the very least, we have other genres of music to get into. So there's that.
But it's more like people only worrying about themselves, right? Only worrying about their bottom line, only worried about the problem with their income bracket, right? You spend and I'm not justifying it, but the theory is, right, you spend a lot of money on these groups to try to get them to a point so that you're earning money off of them. And then the thing is that they're scared that when these groups go away, well, then you have to do that all over again. And you don't know if you're going to have that same success rate, right? Like you put out an EXO, what's the possibility that you then again
you
get another EXO?
Yeah, you don't know that NCT is going to be able to like slip in if like you don't know if that's going to succeed, which is definitely understandable. There's a huge risk, and we've talked about how people are risk averse in K-pop.
Yeah. So that's just part of the theory to it. So
yeah.
Well, not theory. That is exactly kind of what what part of it is you have that thing.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Sleepy is sleeping. Oh, Sleepy is TS Entertainment. Call back to the earlier.
Yeah,
Sleepy is so looking at like TS Entertainment, and you think about what do they have? It's like, they have BAP. They had Secret, not anymore. They have BAP. And they've had a back and forth between them, before their past legal struggles, and they have Sonamu, who are still trying to find their ground, trying to find solid ground still in this industry. Had a couple members in the unit, one of which, if not more. I'm gonna say just one of which is now the one of the members of the final groups in Unity. But they're still trying to find they're still trying to find their flow and their place in the industry, and they're trying to find some solid ground. So it's like you can definitely see the desire to like cling, but
yeah,
but They're not finding the best ways to do it to hang on. You gotta at least looking out for your artist's best interests sometimes is actually your best interest because you get to keep making money. If you make them happy, you just make more money. But it's hard to think. It's oh well. All the best to the artists at TS Entertainment. Trying to fight that good fight. Moving on. Let's talk about an exciting new debut in K-pop. New girl group. Already has some buzz. Already has some like notoriety. Which is exciting that artists have a built-in fandom. It's always good to have that when you're debuting in a new group, especially in a competitive field like K-pop. Korea's newest K-pop girl group, made up of 3 Japanese adult film stars, debuts next month. There's no doubt as to which gender the group is trying to attract. I don't know about that, but adult videos actresses are sometimes stigmatized by Japanese society, a complication which has led to new guidelines being pushed out to protect them after leaving the trade. But not for newest K-pop group Honey Popcorn, which unabashedly proclaims that all 3 members are Japanese adult video stars. The news blazed through the internet when Yua Mikami, a former member of the mega girl group SKE48, announced recently on her Instagram that her idol group will be debuting soon, as soon as 14th March in South Korea, as a matter of fact. March 14th, which is like just a few days. In quote, it's been decided that Miko Matsuda and Sakura Moko and I will be debuting. I'm glad I can finally announce this. And though it'll be a harsh industry, we'll give it our best. Joining you are, like she said, is Okada Risako and Ito Yu, who are former members of NMB48. No, this is the thing says otherwise. Ito will inject some sisters of cuteness, and Okada charms the audience with schoolgirl-like innocence. Even though their announcement drew some flack from vocal minority fans, most hope for their debut success. They're returning to their idol group's roots after all, and if a fellow JV actress can steamroll way back into competitive snowboarding, which is of course referring to of course, I don't know, Melo Imai, who want to get back into competitive snowboarding, maybe they can too. This is definitely fascinating. This is definitely kind of interesting, like, way to get back into idol life. To say the least. It's interesting that they would choose going to Korea. But I guess it's like for a different industry, different resources.
I mean, what do you think? Korea is just kind of more the hotter industry for like idol pop at the moment, right? It's kind of bigger than Japan. Japan is kind of locked in. It's harder in Japan to start a newer group. And I don't know, the other stuff like has been very here nor there. Like it's a selling point at this point. So I don't know. I didn't really find this that interesting.
Yeah. It's just a funny thing. We'll have to see. Basically we'll have to just see what they do and what they actually sound like. But it's just an interesting, we'll have to see how it works out there. They're already getting buzz, obviously. Getting they're supposedly now getting to play overseas. They're invited, and fittingly enough, getting invited to an anime convention, so that's exciting. They've been invited to Anime Matsuri. This is the other part that I found interesting with that headline. It's like they got invited to Anime Matsuri even though they haven't debuted yet, which is the ultimate sign that convention, which I had never heard of up until up until seeing two headlines about them on Reddit, is crashing and burning in a glorious fashion. Because apparently everyone involved, people involved, are creeps. And like people like Femme and a bunch of voice actors are boycotting them. So I love like the fact that it's like they're in so deep trouble that they're just inviting anybody, including groups that haven't debuted yet.
Well, it's not inviting anybody, right? You go with groups that don't already know your pedigree, right? Like because they're not focused on knowing your pedigree, so they're just looking for any kind of introduction to get fans, and you're looking at like it's just, you know, they don't have the pedigree yet to know who not to deal with.
Yeah. Which is, of course, one of the people not to deal with is Anime Matsuri, just from reading this. So
yeah,
don't go to Anime Matsuri. Hopefully they wisen up and decide not to go, but we'll see. But moving on, kind of something tangentially related, which I thought was a really cool thing. Sunmi tells Days that the difference in treatment of male and female celebs is significant. Sunmi, a girl, had an interview with Dazed, which I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but she had a nice little excerpt about how, you know, different people get treated. So, like, the question being, if it's said to take over the role of diva is the idea too huge, do you have anything to say about living as a diva in Korea? To which she answers, honestly, I never see myself as a diva. I am grateful to be viewed as one, but I still feel burdened by the saying. It's a difficult world for women to live in. The standard for female singers is especially strict. Relationship news, scandals are a heavy blow towards female celebrities. When I look at the comments or posts, the difference in treatments for male celebrities is very big. Insults, sexual assaults. I wanted to keep quiet, but I'm really angry lately. Sometimes I feel frustrated, just like how there must be people who would hate this interview. That's why I don't want to do this interview insincerely. I want to do this with all of my heart. Even if I'm not becoming more frank and open, I feel like women are going to live the harder way forever. That's why I have made the preparation for the public to love me, and also the preparations for the public to hate me. It's like, let them haters come, which I think is fantastic.
But that idea, that concept, that thing is not a surprise in any entertainment industry.
Yeah, no.
I think for Korea and the Korean entertainment industry, a lot of it stems from cultural representations too, like or cultural norms, not cultural representations, cultural norms, right? And it's hard, like it's hard for people to shake those things, right? It's hard for people to get rid of their social structure, but that thing across the board in just all of the world exists, right? It just exists throughout the world, where if a male celebrity is talked about sleeping with someone that necessarily he shouldn't, unless it's somebody significantly younger than him, right? He's not crucified or poo-pooed or talked about, right? Like in a bad way. There has to be a very specific thing for him to be talked about in a bad way. But if a female celebrity like sleeps with anyone, then it's like, oh, you know, like it's the hums and the ha's, it's the this and the that, and it comes from every news outlet, right? And it's not just a male dominance thing either, right? Because and like this is one of those things that always frustrates me when you kind of talk about these kind of things, right? Is and it could be a little bit of both, but there's always these moments where like you'll look at somebody say like, oh, because of men this, but then all the clips they show, it's like female reporters talking about like, oh, we're reporting how she did this and she did that, and it's a little bit of that too, right? It's a little bit of maybe just take the stand and don't talk about it, or something like, and some of it is male bullshit and male running media companies and things like that, but like I think it comes down to other people. It doesn't come down to one person taking that stand, right? It comes down to other people saying to everyone else around them that that's not okay to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to have one person be this righteous, upstanding person, which we always have to have for some reason before anybody else decides to do anything. Like, just when somebody says that shit, either ignore it, don't give it attention, don't give it views, don't give it anything, or
shut it down.
Shut it down. You know what I mean? Like,
and
that's kind of the way we live in this world, right? Because if you give it any attention, then it gains traction. So sometimes the better thing to do is just ignore those people when they put out those kind of stories and stuff. Like,
yeah. And I think that it's not the big thing is that it's noteworthy that this is a thing. But the fact that somebody like Sun would be able to just like say, yeah, fuck it, like I'm gonna say this, and I'm prepared for everyone to hate me. Like I'm prepared for the hate,
Like I recently, like, for me, one of the things I did was like I started going through, like, because I'm trying to get back into using Twitter and other social streams outside of Instagram, right? Like, because I kind of got locked into Instagram for a little while. And I went back to Twitter and I was looking at things and I was looking at my Twitter feed and I'm just like, oh God, that story is so dumb. Or, oh God, like, why would anyone talk about that? Like, why would anybody write about this? And then the thing I decided was like, rather than being angry about it and adding to the comment on that thread, I'm gonna just go into my shit and unfollow it. Right? No, it doesn't go away. No, it doesn't mean, this, that, or the other. But yes, people are going to continue to write about these things. People are going to continue to do that. But the more I comment on that thread, right, the more I go, how dare you? I can't believe you would write about that. I can't believe you would have that view on that. All I'm doing is drawing more people to look at it when I do those things with that particular kind of stuff, right? So for me, the way I've decided to deal with that is I'm just going to hit the unfollow button. I don't have to see it. I don't have to see the comment thread. It doesn't drive me to want to comment on it. And then that's one less comment. And that's one less thing that's going to drive more people to see it, right? And I think that in this realm with that kind of stuff is what we need to do. With other stuff like what she's talking about, it's being more vocal and saying like, it's not okay for you to have that double standard.
Yeah, which is admittedly for not easy for everyone to do, but it's one of those senses like, but it's important to recognize that it's not easy for everyone to do. But if everyone can do their little bit, everyone can like in that level. It's good to have big revolutionary people to fight the big battles, but if there's one thing I learned from the end of One Punch Man, is that everyone can contribute. You don't have to be the one guy that can punch somebody to death. You can be the person that just evacuates people. You can be Moomin Rider. Shout out to Moomin Rider.
But it's the problem, right? Everybody most of the time wants to be the hero. Nobody wants to be like left out of the story, right? Nobody wants to be either either nobody wants the hero or everybody wants to be the hero. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough.
It's rough out there for everyone. And it's scary out there.
Yeah.
It's scary to do all that. So anybody that can do it, I commend you. Anybody that can stand up for, get out there, stand up against fucking inequality bullshit. And all the powerful, strong women out there. It's interesting to talk about this day because when we're recording it is International Women's Day, so there's like a lot of like hubbub all over the internet today, which is really cool because it's like a lot of celebrating of women that are and women celebrating each other and lifting each other up. That's the other thing. We need more of that. Women lifting each other up. Like don't you don't need to go to your oppressors for acceptance. Like you lift each other up and you're good. Like can lend each other a hand. Have some solidarity.
Very oddly like interconnected, right? To me was a story that I covered on another podcast where we were talking about the women's national hockey team for the US, right? And how they weren't getting paid equally to the men's national hockey team. And originally, like, the people who were in control of that just figured like, whatever, they'll bow out at some point, right? And I think in that solidarity is like the thing that happened was they were like, oh, we'll just replace them with like the next set of people down, right? But everybody stood together and was like, no, I'm not going to play for your team when you're already a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason they don't want to play for you and no one else wants to too. And then the continuation of that solidarity came from the national men's hockey team saying like, yo, if you're not going to treat them for what they're worth, we're not going to play either. Like that's where that continuation happens, right? Like one helping each other, right? Like don't be the detractor. Don't be the person that accepts the bad to help yourself, right? Like be the person that continues the good. Like every other female in like college and then youth league was like, no, we won't play, we won't do that because you're not treating the people who are already playing for you correctly, right? And then to have that even more pressure, then now you have even more people saying like, no, we stand with them, we agree with them, like that you're not treating them right and you should. And the great thing of that is we come around to these Olympics and the national women's team wins a fucking gold medal. So pay people what they're worth and they'll do good things.
Yeah. Like the great Queen Latifah once said, UNITY, that's unity. But yeah. All shout out fighting to all out there, especially with all the craziness of the fact that all the craziness in Korea now with the whole Me Too movement. Like we haven't really covered it because it's not really a pop culture thing, but wow, that is. I mean, even it is affecting pop culture because it's starting to like get into like movies, directors, and like movie producers, and like possibly idol singers. It's like there's a lot going out there. There's way too much for this dumb little podcast to unpack almost. So go check all that out, and it's wild out there. But yeah. One last little thing. I just wanted to shout out the fact that Baby Metal is coming to America.
They're doing some new tour dates. So they're doing America and they're going to be doing some bits in Europe.
Yeah, so they're gonna start off in Kansas. They're gonna hit up Austin, Dallas, Houston. It's crazy. They're doing like 3 shows in Texas. They're hitting up Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Columbus, Ohio. Like a lot of it, some of that is like because Columbus, Ohio, they're hitting up Rock on the Range, and I believe another one, Marathon Music Works. But I think that one is mainly the big event, and then they're also going to be hitting up Nuremberg, Germany, and Nuremberg, Germany. In Innsbruck, Austria, Utrecht, in the Netherlands, and Derby in the UK for Download UK, the big festival over there. That's going to be really cool. But yeah, I just want to just give that a shout out because Baby Metal are amazing. And they're gonna play great, and people should go see them. I imagine it's gonna be a little bit hard for them, considering they're gonna be with heavy hearts, but they're gonna play their heart outs, possibly at least partially in memory of Mikio. But yeah, go see them. Go see Baby Metal. They're a fantastic band. Not just a gimmick, but a really fantastic, talented band. I wish I could go see them. Maybe one day. I get to see Baby Metal live. Yeah. All right, that's the end of another episode of Hallyujuku. Kaz.
Yeah.
What do you got going on in your world?
Speaking of sports, everybody should go check out sportsoddsandsends.com, the sports podcast for the fly-by-night sports fan, where we talk about everything from the ball sports to the esports. So yeah, definitely go check us out. We did our wrap up of the Olympics, and we'll have a new episode coming out soon where we talk about more stuff. Talked about some trade things in the baseballs and how the owners are being stingy with their goddamn money.
Yeah, and the Players Association are yelling at some teams, including the Marlins. I look forward to listening to that episode. Yeah. Also, goddamn J.R. Smith. Go listen to that, including J.R. Smith throwing a bowl of soup at an assistant coach. They talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Goddamn J.R. Smith. But yeah, sportsoddsands.com. You can find him at King Kaz everywhere. I'm Petey Rave. The show is Hallyujuku. You can find it on kpoppodcast.com. It's also an easy way to share with your friends. Rebellion.net for this and other shows, including Record Breakers. This upcoming week, we should have the Gaslight Anthems album, which is interesting. It was a really nice little discussion of, like, we could almost call it Springsteen punk. of all things. Didn't I tell you, don't you know? It's interesting. So go check that out. Follow on there. Give us some feedback there. Give us some feedback here. Rebellion.net and for all the shows. Rebellion TV on YouTube and all the other places. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Give it to me straight, Doctor.
Annyeong. Fighting.
Give it to me straight, Doctor.